kind of fish is out there? Jeez. Ooh. That is nice.
Okay. Questions?
What do you think?
That's fine. It's always fun to get those guys out there, play some, not 11 and 11, but get them out there competing, and it's just fun.
I can't remember if I've asked you this before, but can you recall a specific situation where a tryout guy or UDFA guy really popped for you?
Yeah.
In rookie camp and helped them propel it to training?
In my history or just here? Both. So we'll go history. I shared the story with the guys this morning. Benson Mayowa was a rookie tryout guy. The actual funny story is we offered him money to be a UDFA, but the money had run out before he said yes. So we were like, well, you want to come as rookie minicamp tryout? And he still came. And remember, if you remember, that was a world championship team with that deep D line, and he made that D line. He made the 53-man roster, and he had a hell of a career. I think played 9 seasons. Here we've had a lot of guys. Irv stuck out during the rookie mini tryout a year ago. Cap last year was a rookie tryout. So there's always one or two that stand out, and whether they make it now or later, someone will from this group.
When you're in these camps like that, just kind of what do you look for, and how do you stand out?
You're looking for talent, right? You're looking for the approach. You're looking for their recall, because you're getting a lot of information in a very short amount of time, and but usually the ones that are capable stand out, and you can tell pretty quickly.
Robert, you guys were pretty aggressive on your offensive side of the ball this offseason, free agency, first 5 picks in the draft. How much better do you feel like that unit looks right now?
It's an exciting group to work with for sure. We still got to get to work. There's still a lot of work to be done. Number one thing, keeping all these guys healthy. But it's a group that we're excited about.
I know you're only phase 2 right now?
Yeah.
How has Aaron looked? Is Aaron participating fully in this whole spring? Like, where is he at?
I know he's had a couple of prior engagements that he's taken care of, but he's here. He's working. The guy can still sling it. Obviously, he's still working through his rehab, but no issues on the trajectory at which he's going.
There's no restrictions.
No.
Are you guys managing him any differently because he's coming on? I mean, as part of the rehab, or is it
No, well, it's naturally managed because of the phase 1, phase 2 part of it. But once phase 3 hits, we're not anticipating any restrictions from what we can and can't do with him.
I imagine, Robert, in the spring and even training camp, you'll have some management with Tyron, right? Is that going to benefit Olu? That those, I'm guessing, those reps are going to go to him.
Absolutely, it benefits all of them. Olu, Carter, Max. But when we do manage, because we're going to try to do our best for Morgan too. So those guys are going to get a lot of reps at both tackle spots.
What can you tell us about Stiggers? I don't know if you were asked a lot about him after the pick in terms of his skill set. He's got a tremendous skill set for one, but the reason why we don't think he'll fail is his mindset. That's and you guys know me by now. People win championships, not athletes. And I'm not saying he's not an athlete. He's a phenomenal athlete, but he's got an elite makeup, and you can put him up against any corner. With regards to athleticism and all that, but it's his strain and his mindset that we're really excited about.
With AVT, you guys have talked a lot this offseason about wanting him in the same place. I'm just curious, do you manage that like case by case with players, or is that something that might apply to Olu when you figure out where you want him to play this year and balance like the needs and all that with his needs as well?
Yeah, Again, you guys know me by now. I'm big on one kick, 10,000 reps. It's ideally everybody is in one spot and nobody has to move. But obviously injuries, that's what's happened to AVT the last couple of years, is that it's forced our hand to kind of move him, and we feel like we've done him a disservice. With Olu, same thing. You'd like these kids to get good at one thing and see if they can
excel. Tony Adams is a great example. You know, his gift is also his curse in that he's so versatile. He's so athletic. He's so smart that he can play multiple positions, which he did in college. And it kind of, when people watch it, you just lose sight of what you're capable of. Then you get him here. He plays one position. Let's see if he can get good. He's pretty good. So ideally, we keep all these guys in one spot.
What do you envision Corley's progression being here through the spring and the summer, just in terms of just getting him up to speed?
It's just going to be that. You know, he is raw from a route running ability standpoint, so we've got to. We're obviously attacking that, getting him the ball and the creativity that comes with it. I think we're all having a lot of fun looking at ways to get him the ball. He's unique in that way. He is a smart kid, so he can absorb it. But for him, if we always talk about these just one things or JOT tapes. His one thing is route refinement and just making sure that he can, on 3rd and 4, when you got to have it and you got to be able to run a route to create separation. Those are the things that he's got to work on.
Just your experience. I know you're on the defensive side of the ball, but is your experience with how San Francisco used Debo in all of those different ways of just getting the ball in his hands, does that help you all dealing with him now?
Sure. For sure. Watching how that kind of evolved and. Obviously, Kyle is extremely creative in that regard in terms of getting Debo the ball, and so there's a lot of tape out there. There's tape of a lot of receivers from a lot of different football teams, and just finding ways to get them the ball in those non-conventional ways. But the good thing is, and what's been fun over this offseason is the system is capable of doing anything we want it to do. It's just a matter of putting words to it and making it happen.
How rare is it for a receiver to be someone who seeks out contact? That's usually more of my work at, obviously.
Heck yeah. No, it's, especially, in a time of self-preservation, he never runs out of bounds, and that extra 1 or 2 yards, every yard matters. So many times you'll see ball carriers run out, it's 1st and 10 and they get an 8-yard gain, they run out of bounds. It's you're thinking, well, 2nd and 2, but then it's 3rd and 1, and then you're punting. Versus stick my foot in the ground, get vertical. Now it's on 1st and 10. Now it's 1st and 10 again. Get a whole new set of downs. That is a huge difference in football. There are hidden plays there are plays that lead to more plays that no one ever talks about. And to have a guy of that mindset, I think it's contagious. To bring in the 2 big backs, that's contagious. To have that mindset, to bring that physicality, the offensive line, all of it, I think it's. The hope is that it becomes a contagious trait that permeates through the entire building.
With a guy like Brees, you obviously want the ball in his hands because of what he can do, but is there an effort now to also preserve him a little bit and make sure you don't run him to the ground too much with some of the backs you've added? Have a little bit. He's still going to be the bell cow, but have a little bit more of a committee?
Yeah, I don't know if committee is the right word, but you can only give these guys the ball so much. Even the bell cows nowadays, they're 20 to 25 touches. It's not 30 plus like it used to be. So you have to have extra guys. Part of the thing that I think gets lost in it too is that with the rule changes with regards to kickoff coverage and kickoff return, you need bigger bodies, you need big backs, and with all the extra special teams plays, so getting those 2 backs was big in that regard also. So there was a lot of reasons for those 2 backs, but Brees is the unquestioned bell cow. But even then, you're still talking 20, 25 touches.
I don't know if we've actually talked to you. I wasn't here, but we talked about the new kickoff rules. I don't know if we've asked you about that yet. I mean, how is those conversations going with Branner? Because that was a play was basically phased out, and now it seems like it's really back.
It's back.
Excited for it?
I am. I know we all are. We're all very excited about it, just to get the play back in, to add value back to special teams. It is fun to study what was done before in the other leagues and to try to come up with ideas. And there's a lot of unknowns. I think I speak for everyone in that. Not just in this building, but other buildings, where there's going to be a lot of unscouted looks. There's going to be a lot of chaos in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and before everyone kind of gets a handle of what it is. And I think you're adding a game-changing element back to the game and a momentum changer. So it's exciting to have it back in football.
How much was that part of the conversation during the pre-draft stuff?
It was. It still is. Like I said, you're adding I don't know the number. I think it was like 500 plays per team almost, 500 to 700, somewhere in there, per team, and of extra special teams reps, which is significant. And, so you need the special teams bodies. The returners become a big part of it. You're talking over 100 touches just for a returner. So the value of those guys goes up significantly. And, so it's bringing back a dimension that has been lost for a few years.
Does it change the calculus in terms of like the kind of players you want as returners now too, because of the different hits?
That's part of the discussion for sure. What kind of spaces are going to be? What kind of are you breaking arm tackles? Are you running through space? There's a lot of, but again, there's a lot of unknowns. And so like I said, there's going to be a lot of discovery made in this first year. There's going to be a lot of discovery made within the first 5 weeks. By the time you leave training camp, there's going to be a lot of discovery and thoughts of the direction that it's going to go. So I think definitely speak for this building that we're all excited to see what happens with it.
What kind of attributes are you looking at for that kind of returner? I mean, is it the more physical guy that's going to run through? Is it more agile? I mean, what is it?
That's part of the talk. Like, what does it look like? I know I have my thoughts. I'll keep them here. Brent has his thoughts. Try to keep them with us. But I think, like I said, I think the whole league will know exactly what that returner is supposed to look like by the middle of the season.
You talk about the two big backs. What do you like specifically about Braylon? Player and makeup-wise, player, person-wise, whatever.
They both have tremendous mental makeup. Again, their size, their physicality. Braylon's so young. I mean, he's still a pup. Hasn't even figured out his body yet. But highly productive players. They have great vision. They have great running styles. They bring great demeanor. They're great work ethic. So they match the character that we covet.
What's the plan for Travis?
Obviously, he's still in rehab, so we'll continue to work through that, and we're trying to figure out what he can and can't do, and whatever he can do, whatever he's cleared with medically, we'll work with him. But the anticipation is that he'll be ready by training camp.
What did you like about him when you watched this film?
Just going through, he's a tremendous athlete. We feel like he's kind of a ball of clay. There's a lot of these kids are coming from college, and the style of college, it's tremendous schemes, but they're more tailor-made to what they can and can't do rule-wise at the college level. And so you're getting these quarterbacks who have, when it comes to footwork and throwing motion and just being able to process and working in NFL offense, getting under center, controlling a huddle, all that good stuff. There's so many things that we feel like we can build on that athleticism. And so there's a lot of excitement with regards to that.
Two quick, you mentioned training camp for him early, beginning portion. Do you think, so the plan for you guys is that he will be able to practice?
That's the thought. Again, he still has to go through his process, so I don't want to speak for the doctors on that one.
And then the one extra one on that is that you guys were able to get him where you did in large part because he got hurt.
Yeah.
When you evaluated and scouted him, where did you think, if he didn't go down, I mean, what kind of talent is he? A potential first-round pick, second-round pick, and what kind of talent is there had there not been the injury issue?
I'll keep that one with us. No, not to play that game. He's a tremendously talented young man and extremely gifted, especially athletically. He's got a lot of work to do for sure, especially with tying his lower half to his arm and all that good stuff. But he's a gifted athlete. He's got a tremendous mindset, like most of these kids that we've brought in do. And like I said, I think he hasn't even scratched the surface. He was winning games, doing things that were just pure athleticism. And if we could tie in the football part to it, I think we've got ourselves a pretty damn good football player.
How much role will Aaron and Tyrod be able to help? I mean, I would think you'd think the quarterback room is much better this year. He could probably get a lot from them that you guys were hoping Zach was going to get last year.
No, for sure. He can get as much as he's. I know this with Tyrod and Aaron that if you ask them a question, they'll answer. And if I'm JT, I'm going to act like my little son Mikey, who just asks me 300 questions every night, about life, and I'll answer all of them. And so he should be there asking as many questions as possible, and he will get anything he asks.
That's one call. Mikey sounds like a future reporter. With now, the way college football is now, almost everyone watching the drafts played for two colleges, right? With the way NIL is and transfer portal. when we talked to Malachi after he was drafted, he said he had big offers to go other places, NIL-wise, and chose to stay at Western Kentucky. Not that you hold it against guys who transfer, they can do that, but is there something that stands out in your eyes about him being loyal to the program? Does that kind of speak to him at all?
You know, I think it's good business by him. You know, I think one of the things that not to get too opinionated on it, I think when these kids are transferring so much, they're losing connection with their development as a football player by having so many voices in their ear, by seeing so many schemes, by seeing so many, having all the different verbiage. They're really not working one-on-one with a person to have enough continuity to create a development plan that allows them to discover who they are as football players. And because of it, they get here and they're really raw. Where Malachi, there's a very clear vision because he was in one spot, because he was working with the same group of people, because they developed him in a certain way. It is very clear what he needs to get work on, and it is very clear what he's very good at. And so for us, obviously, we have a plan to continue what he's built while having a plan for what needs to get built. So it's, yeah, it's my opinion anyway.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks, guys.